Hi and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to explore the idea of major scales, arpeggios, and chords. And we're going to learn how to play three of those today. We're going to learn how to play the A major scale, the D major scale, and the G major scale, one octave of each. And we're going to learn how to play the arpeggios that correspond with those keys. Okay, but the first thing, just a quick tutorial on music theory. What's a scale? Okay, well, I think in video number 4, we talked about one scale, which is the chromatic scale. If you play all the adjacent notes on violin, all the notes that are half steps away, if you recall from the other video, that a half step is when your fingers are close together, and a whole step is when there's a space between your fingers. Okay, so if you play all the adjacent notes, you get what they call the chromatic scale. So that would be an example of a chromatic scale. But usually in Western classical music, at least, is we don't use all the notes of the chromatic scale when we play songs. Instead, we choose to choose a tonal center for our piece, and then from that tonal center, we build familiar structures that sound good to our ear. So let's just see how this works in practice. Okay, I'm going to arbitrarily choose the tonal center, the A string. That'll be our tonal center, the A string. And using this tonal center, we're going to build our first familiar musical structure, the A major scale. Okay, so how are we going to build a structure? We're going to apply the A major scale formula. So here's the A major scale formula. Let me just say it in words first. So we go whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Great. So let me repeat that again. This is the formula for the A major scale. So whole step, half step. Whole step, half step. Okay, so now let's apply this formula to the tonal center that we've chosen. In this case, A. Okay, so that if we're going to build a scale on this tonal center, A, we start with A. And then we play one whole step away from A, which is B. And then we play one whole step away from B, which is C sharp. And then we play a half step away from C sharp, which is D. And then we continue playing a whole step away from D, which is E. And we play a whole step away from E, which is F sharp. And then we play a whole step away from F sharp, which is G sharp. And then we end a half step away from G sharp on A. Great. So let me play that one more time and I'll sing the formula. Whole step, then a half step, the fingers are close together. Then we go whole step, half step. Great. And let me play that A major scale just a little bit more smoothly now. So sorry. And usually when I practice my scales, I play it ascending just like how I did, and then I also go backwards. Right. Okay, so that's the A major scale. And from the A major scale, we can derive another familiar musical structure, the A major arpeggio. Okay. So what's an arpeggio? Arpeggio is if you only play certain notes of the scale. In this case, we're going to play the first note, the third note, the fifth note, and then the last note. And we'll have created an A major arpeggio. So the first note is the A major scale. We skip B and go to the third note, C sharp. Then we skip the fourth note and go on to the fifth note, E. And then we play the last note of the scale, high A. Okay, and I'll play a little bit smoother and more quickly. So congratulations, you now know the A major scale and the A major arpeggio. Great. And if you notice while we were playing the A major scale on A major arpeggio, we were using a finger pattern number 1 from video number 4. You can go back on my YouTube channel and look at the violin lesson number 4 just for a more in-depth discussion of the finger patterns. But we were using this one, the one that has the space between first finger and the space between third and fourth finger. Okay, so what's the good news? If we take the knowledge that we just learned and apply it to different strings, we can derive different scales. So let's see. I'm going to now choose as my tonal center open D string. And I'm going to apply the same formula. Whole step, half step. Whole step, half step. And things you might have not have noticed from the A major scale, what we were doing on both strings, we were just applying finger pattern number 1. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to start on D string. I'm going to go first finger, second finger, third finger, with a space between first and second, and second and third finger close together. I'm going to do that on D string, and then go to the next adjacent string. And we'll have our D major scale. And like the A major scale, we can go backwards. And if we play the first note, the third note, and the fifth note, and the last note of the D major scale, we get the corresponding D major arpeggio. Great. And then let's apply this newfound knowledge to one more string, the open G string. And if we just apply the same formula, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, we can derive the G major scale. Great. And since we're starting open G string, just like we did on the open A string and the open D string, we can just use the same finger spacing pattern too. The one with the first finger and second finger far away, and the third finger and fourth finger far away, and the middle fingers close together. And if we just do that finger pattern starting on G string, we get the G major scale. Great. And if we play the first, third, fifth, and last note of the scale, we get the G major arpeggio. So. Great. So congratulations. You've just learned the A major scale, D major scale, G major scale, and their corresponding arpeggios. And from these building blocks, we can build songs in a wide variety of genres. So that's why we practice scales in the first place. These are the building blocks of music. Fantastic. Okay, so before we go, I think I have a little bit of extra time. I just wanted to show you a more contemporary technique that is also related to these scales. Okay, I think in a more modern use of violin, they're using it less and less as a melodic instrument, and they're trying to incorporate it as a rhythm instrument similar to guitar or ukulele. So let me just show you some ways we could strum the chords that go with the scales and arpeggios we just learned. Okay, so let's start off with the last one that we just played, the G major scale. We just learned. And we learned its corresponding arpeggio is the first note, the third note, fifth note, and last note. Okay, and the names of the first, third, and fifth note are G, B, and D. Okay, so what's a chord? A chord is if you play those three notes simultaneously. And for that, you sort of have to have a look at the fingerboard and strategize where you're going to put these notes, so then you could strum the strings like a guitar. So just to review, from the G major scale, we need a G, a B, and a D. Okay, so the G and D is easy. Let's just do the open G. That's open G string. The open D string. And then for the B, I'm going to play one finger on A. And I'm going to just strum it with my thumb, as you would an ukulele. That's the G major scale. I'm going to do maybe 4 of those. Okay. And then, just to review, put it all together, the D major scale. And then the D major arpeggio. And the notes in the D major arpeggio, just to review, were the first note, the third note, and the fifth note. D, F sharp, A, and D. D, F sharp, A, D. Okay, so if we were to strum those notes on violin, I think the way I would organize my fingers, I'd get the D with the open D, the A with the open A, and then the F sharp I would do the first finger on E. Great. So just to review what you said, we just did the G chord, open G, open D, one finger on A to get the B. And then we got the D chord, open D, open A, one finger on E. Great. And then the first scale that we learned was the A major scale. And then we also learned its corresponding arpeggio. And the notes of the arpeggio were A, C sharp, open E, high A, three fingers on E. Right. So to strum that chord on violin, we need a little bit of strategy. I'm going to try to incorporate all four strings in this one. I'm going to get the A with the first finger on G. And I'm going to use that same finger to play a one finger on D. So I got the A over here, the D over here, and then I'm going to use my second finger to play C sharp, the two fingers on A. And I'm going to make this one deluxe and use one more finger. I'm going to put the third finger on the high A, three fingers on E. Great. So now we got the A major chord. Now maybe I'll strum a few times. Great. So that's all of our scales, chords, and arpeggios. Let me just run through them one more time just so you can see them, and then we'll call it a day. So just a quick review, the A major scale. Okay, one more time. The A major scale. The A major arpeggio. And then the A major chord. And then the D major scale. The D major arpeggio. And then the D major chord. And then the last scale that we learned was the G major scale. And the G major arpeggio. And then the G major chord. Open G, open D, one finger on A. Great. So hope that was helpful. And I'll see you on the next video. And the next video we'll talk about some bow strokes and stuff. So looking forward to seeing you soon.